All right, so we're now moving on to the second video of this section. I just broke this down for you so that way it wasn't a really, really long video. But we are going to do one more problem, and this one will be a word problem. And if you were unsure about what systems of equations are, and when we were talking about the same variable representing the same thing in both of our equations, this should hopefully help you understand that a little bit more. All right, so let's go ahead and just do this one problem. That's it for this video. All right, so the first thing when you have these real life applications or word problems, just read through, and you should be able to highlight or underline material or information you know is going to be important. So it says a kicker on our football team scores 1 point for making an extra point. So that's going to be something that's important because they're telling us how much they make for each of their extra points. And then 3 points for making a field goal. So anytime that we talk about them making a field goal, we know that that counts for 3 points. And anytime they talk about making an extra point, we know that counts for 1. Right? So now it says the kicker makes a total of 8 extra points and field goals in a game. So I'm going to highlight that in a different color. And they score 12 points. So you see here, so let's finish the question. It says, write and solve a system of linear equations to find a number of x extra points and y field goals. So it tells us that x is going to represent our extra points and y is going to represent the number of field goals. So you see, the information they gave us, they tell us how many points he scored, and then they tell us how many kicks he made. So he made a combination of 8 extra points and field goals, and he scored 12 points. So you see, we're talking about points, and we're talking about total kicks. So when we create these system of equations, we need to create an equation for how many points he scored and for how many kicks he scored as well. So what are the different types of kicks he can do? Well, the 2 different types of kicks that he can make are extra points and field goals. We know extra points are represented by the letter X, so I'm going to say X. And we know field goals are represented by Y, so X plus Y is equal to 8 because they tell us that he made 8 kicks. So we're looking here at how many kicks they made. And then now we need to look at, because if we try to solve this, well, we can't. When there's 2 unknowns, we can't solve it with just one equation. We need to have either a system or we'd have to have only one unknown. So since I can't solve this equation as is, now I need to look, okay, well, can I create one with how many points? Well, we know that he gets 1 point for every extra point. So we can say 1x to represent 1 point that he scored, and you don't have to write the 1 there. And then it says that he gets 3 points for every field goal. So if he scores 3 points for every field goal, we can represent that by 3y. Right? Then he scored a total of 12 points. So we would set this equal to 12. Right? So now we have 1x plus 3y is equal to 12. And that tells us how many points he could have accumulated. And in the other equation, we need to create different equations to represent the different scenarios that they give us, the points and how many kicks. All right, so now we're going to solve this. And right now, the only way that we know how to solve is through graphing. So I'm going to graph the kicks in blue. So x plus y is equal to 8. And I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to solve for my y. And I'm going to go ahead and graph. So my b is equal to 8, which is the 0.08. And my m is equal to -1, which I will write -1 over 1, which represents our change in y over change in x. So here's my y-intercept. And I'm going to go ahead and plot my points. I'm going to pause this video so I can graph this quickly. All right, so remember, you will use a nice straight edge, so your graph will look way better than the one I just did right there. I can't use one of this tablet like I've been saying. All right, so that is our blue graph. All right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to graph the points. So we have x plus 3y is equal to 12. So we're now going to isolate our y again. So we're going to subtract over the x. So we get 3y is equal to -x plus 12. Divide by 3. And remember, this now creates 2 separate fractions. So we have this -x over 3. So we can say -1/3 x. And then we have this 12 over 3. And 12 over 3 we know is equal to just 4. So I can go ahead and write plus 4. So that's why we were learning how to rearrange our equations before, because you will need to when you're graphing sometimes. All right, we're going to identify our b is equal to 4, so it's a 0.04. And our slope m is equal to -1 over 3, so change in y over change in x. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and plot this. So we have our 4. I'm going down 1 and to the right 3, down 1 and to the right 3. And now I'm going to pause this so that way I can graph this as well. All right, so now there's the graph of the green equation of how many points he could earn. And remember, To solve our system of equations, it's where they overlap, it's where they share, it's our AND statement. So that's this point here where x is equal to 6 and our y is equal to 2. So it generates the answer, and you must write it as an ordered pair of 6, 2. Right? And that would be our final answer for this one. And if you wanted to check your work, you can plug it back into the equations that you had and saw that it held true. So that means that he made 6 extra points and 2 field goals. All right? And that is it for this video.